Abubakar Kari, political analyst, he's joining us now live. I beg your pardon. I'm trying to look at some of the key things you'll be talking about now. We're talking about the man who's not on the ballot, finally appearing, campaigning for his party, and of course, the only female governorship candidate. Kari, make for us how this will pan out for a party that some Nigerians are not too excited about.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sulaiman. Buhari's physical presence in Adamawa and Yobe State is very, very significant for several reasons. On the one hand, there had been muted belief and even speculation in certain quarters that Buhari was not keen about Bola and Tinubu's presidential bids, and that informed his absence in the campaign before then, after the kickoff in Jos. And I think the opposition also has started latching on that and attempting to make a mockery of Tinubu and his supporters, that even the president was not in support of him. So the president appearing in Yola and Damaturu is very, very significant. If for nothing, it has put a lie to that speculation. And Buhari categorically stated that he is with Tinubu and has urged his supporters to support Tinubu and to vote for him. That is one. Second, in spite of the widespread belief that the Buhari presidency has not delivered on its promises to Nigerians, Buhari still remains hugely popular in many parts of northern Nigeria. People still follow him, people still support him, and many northerners in particular are likely to go his way. Therefore, his categorical endorsement of Tinubu and physical presence in Tinubu's campaign in these parts of the north will likely sway the votes to an extent, hopefully so. The truth is that, particularly in our own part of the northeast, Buhari remains very, very popular. The Boko Haram insurgency has substantially been degraded, except in some parts of the Borno State. And Buhari is taking the credit, and this is something that you can hardly dispute. Notwithstanding the fact that the contrary is a situation in the Northwest because of the activities of bandits.
Apologies that cut you there. I'll come back so that we can actually, I'll let you land on the issue of security. I just don't want us to lose track of what transpired in Adamawa State. Speaking of which, he also campaigned for Aishatu Binani, who is the only female candidate, asking that history be made. And what do you think is the chances, or what are the chances rather, of the APC winning in Adamawa State, which is a PDP state? And some have also said it looks as if Binani is supporting the presidential candidate of the PDP.
No, I'm not sure Binani has at any point come out clearly to say that she was in support of Atiku Abubakar. I'm not sure that has happened. But I know that some PDP elements has attempted to make it look like that. But on the issue of significance of Buhari's presence in the Binani's kickoff campaign, I think is very, very important. Adamawa State, or a section of Adamawa State, a very last section of Adamawa State, is still very, very conservative, particularly the Muslim area.
Well, there seemed to be a glitch to that connection. I hope we get Kari back so that we can actually carry back so that we can wrap up this conversation. Actually, we're looking at President Buhari, who's the outgoing president here in the country, campaigning for the presidential candidate of his party, Bola Tinubu, in Adamawa State, Nigeria's northeast, where the state is actually also fielding the only female governorship candidate. And my question to Kari would be, how does the APC move into a PDP state with Binani's candidacy? And by and large, he's been able to explain to us what President Buhari has done in terms of security, pushing back Boko Haram. But we do hope as soon as Kari comes back, we'll be looking at the death of Boko Haram, or the saving death of Boko Haram, giving rise to another style of insecurity in the country. And that has to do with banditry, kidnapping, and some other pockets of crimes and criminalities across the country. And the very latest, as we've seen before our conversation with the INEC, is the kidnap of train passengers in Yobe State in Nigeria's southern region, where the state has spoken, finally saying that the figures of those in captivity is actually wrong. Those that were caught or kidnapped by the yet to be identified persons are actually 20. But as the state and other security agents trying to rescue these captives, were also pushing ahead with what the election will mean in the country by and large, in terms of campaign, in terms of sensitization, and how much of a buy-in the people are having with this election. As you heard from Festus Okoye, that's the first time you're getting loud enthusiasm from a section of young Nigerians, especially the first-time voters and all those who are trooping out in the numbers to ensure that they get their voter cards. And it's also said, for those who are having a hard time getting the voter cards, just be a little bit patient. And by the way, you can also visit INEC's website to catch up on the real deal, talking about the real story. He's also been able to say on the show that there's nowhere INEC has said it is looking at postponing the election. The election will hold as scheduled. And of course, they're also getting some form of support from the locals who are also working as ad hoc staff for INEC. And we'll take a moment. When we come back, we'll try as much as possible to re-establish our connection with Abubakar Kari, who is a political analyst, speaking to us on Buhari jumping into the campaign of the APC and what that may mean for the ruling party.
News Central TV, Africa's #1 storyteller, has come with the best of both worlds. With a combination of news app and live TV, we ensure that you keep track of the latest headlines, breaking news, and in-depth analysis from professional journalists from around the continent. Download the News Central TV app on Android and iOS and get started today. Don't forget to follow us on News Central's social media platforms. News Central, Africa First.
Welcome back. Abubakar Kari is back. Good to see you, and apologies for that loss in connection to you. Quickly here, Abubakar Kari, before we continue our look at President Buhari's campaign for his party, let's quickly go back and see how it panned out on the day he visited Adamawa State.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari had touched down at Adamawa State, located in northeastern Nigeria. He then visited the palace of the Lamido Adamawa, located in the Jimeta area of the state capital. President Buhari was received by the Adamawa State governor and the Lamido, where they thanked him for his support to the growth and development of the state.
As you spear the shield of leadership in this country, you have done well. You have surpassed what is expected of a leader. And it's our prayer that we have a very fair and transparent election, so that whoever that will take over from you will continue on the path that you have already charted for this country.
The entire people of Adamawa are also indebted to the Buhari presidency for converting the former Modibo Adama University of Technology into a conventional institution with the mandate to offer all academic programs. This development has propelled massive empowerment and employment opportunities in the state, for which we remain eternally indebted.
President Buhari urged them to support the APC's governorship candidate, who happens to be the only female candidate in the race.
The First Lady Governor, God willing, is here and is well. We are going to make sure that we speak to Nigeria through Adamawa State to make sure that Adamawa is picking the First Lady candidate to be the governor in the state. We are here to give that our moral support because the ladies have been fighting us from a safe distance. Let them come close enough and taste what the men have been tasting.
From there, he progressed to the venue for the campaigns, where a mammoth crowd full of party faithful was already on ground. President Buhari presented the party flag to both the governorship candidates and the APC presidential candidate, calling on residents of the state to throw their weight behind the ruling party.
Mainly present the presidential candidate, Bola.
Abubakar Kari is still with us here, and you just watched that display there by President Buhari. How important, or is it too little too late, because he actually did that less than 50 days to the election? So is that some kind of big gain?
Is a big gain, and it wasn't late, because if you remember, it was just a couple of weeks ago that the Court of Appeal actually restored the gubernatorial candidacy of Binani. And the issue was resolved by the party. You recall that a federal high court in Yola had vitiated the election of Binani as a consequence of a suit filed by Nuhu. And that particular event in Yola that Buhari attended was actually the flag off of our campaign, and therefore it was not late. And the wisdom that 24 hours is even too far in politics. So we are talking about Buhari coming about 50 days to the election. So for me, he came at the right moment. And as I said earlier on, his tacit endorsement and categorical declaration of support for Binani will likely help her, particularly amidst the conservative Muslim society in Adamawa State, who a number of them are a bit skeptical about the candidacy of a woman. And having come from a president, a fellow Fulani Muslim president like her, I think it is a huge boost. Also,
let me jump in here. Do you think Buhari truly still has that same cult following, such influence to sway votes?
Well, it is not all about following. I think it's about the optics of it. Politics is about perception. The fact that he has come out clearly to endorse her, he has made a statement trying to rationalize the candidacy of a woman, if not the imperativeness of it. I think it's a very, very good optics. It will go a long way towards dousing the skepticism and even the outright disapproval of certain conservative elements within the Adamawa society that a woman should not lead them. But even more importantly, Buhari's presence in Yola will likely cement the new atmosphere of rapprochement, of consensus building, of convincing the different or disparate groups within the APC to close rank. There are many factions, also to say, or some tendencies. One of them led by Noor Ribadu, another one by Buba Marwa, then there is the First Ladies group, and so on and so forth. And most of them, before then, were not favorably disposed, but outwardly and mutedly to the candidacy of Binani. But the fact that the president himself came and endorsed her will send a very big signal to them that, look, you have to follow suit. You also have to support. So I think that is where the significance of Buhari's going to Yola lies.
Is it safe to say President Buhari actually went because of Binani and not Bola Tinubu?
Well, I don't believe that. Even if it is so, the fact that Tinubu was at that event, Buhari gave him a flag, and Buhari asked people to vote for him. So it doesn't make much difference whether he in reality went for Binani or for Tinubu. The fact that he endorsed both of them, he can vouch for both of them, I think that is what is important.
We're talking about a PDP state. I still want us to stay on Adamawa for a bit. A PDP state, home state of the PDP presidential candidate. So what are the chances of the APC?
No, actually, Binani has a huge chance. She has a very, very big chance. Yeah, for now, Adamawa is a PDP state. Before.
Well, looks like we lost that again. And
yeah, okay. As I was saying.
Okay, you're back.
Before Adamawa was a PDP state, it had been an APC state. And if you look at the configuration, the political configuration of the state, it is not a PDP dominant state because there is a substantial presence of APC in the state, notwithstanding the Atiku factor. And if you really understand the politics of Adamawa State, and the politics of Binani since she joined partisan politics, she has been able to galvanize, to crystallize support around her, particularly from the grassroots, and particularly women. And one interesting thing about Binani's candidacy is that for now, it has doused, the traditional animosity or antipathy between the two major religions in the state, Christianity and Islam. In this election, this really is not a factor because some of the most vociferous supporters of Binani are Christians, particularly Christian women. They have come out clearly and endorsed her. So I am not totally ruling her out. Yes, PDP is very, very strong in Adamawa State. But as far as I'm concerned, the race in Adamawa State is too close to call. It's a very, very serious race. Again, there is the issue of ethnicity, which is also not very, very clear. Binani is Fulani. The Fulanis are spread all over the 3 zones and in substantial number, even though there is no any outright majority ethnic group in Adamawa State. So she will likely benefit from them. She will also benefit from women, and she will also likely benefit from those who believe that women should be given a chance. So it will not be right to rule her out. I think she's really in the race, and Muhammadu really needs to be up and doing. Really needs to.
All right, okay, Abubakar, Kari, we'll like to thank you for your time. We do hope to have this conversation again just before the election. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.